Hi again, it's me, Sue, and I guess I figured it's time maybe that I discussed kind of like my journey on this whole 9 yards, about what I've experienced. And, well, where do we begin here? Once again, like I tell everybody at the beginning of my videos, if you see me moving too much, jerking a little bit, itching, scratching, clearing my throat, stumbling over words, think nothing of it. It's just part of the Bartonella, the co-infections that I've been going through. Okay. Back about 30 years ago, in the 80s, I used to fish all the time here in Ilion, New York. And that is in upstate New York, nowhere near the city. And I started feeling really bizarre, panicky, weak, tired, the whole 9 yards. Never thought too much of it, never saw a tick bite, nothing. Did have a flea infestation at my neighbor's house once. So, who knows? I really don't know where this all started from the first time. But I started to deteriorate as time was going on. And the panic attacks got real bad. And then back in the early 90s, I was back fishing again. And pretty much in the same spots, but not quite. And I was over in Frankfort, New York, and some here in Ilion. And I noticed one day that I had a ring on my forearm, and never knew too much about it. I just thought, some bizarre bug bit me. I also had what looked like a rash on my back that just would not go away. It looked like big blotches of hives all over my back. So when I did finally get seen at the doctors, they thought that I had tinea. And so they tried to treat me for tinea. And meanwhile, I'm having all these other symptoms. I'm always dizzy. That was the main thing. I was a walker. I walked. I rode bike all over the place. And I noticed that I just would start to feel bizarre dizzy after I walked too much. And, time went on, and I finally found out about ticks, and I started remembering things that fell under the category of maybe I've got Lyme disease. Underneath, my breast area on my left rib cage, I had a big ring at one time. It was, it's hard to see this way. It's probably stretched out about that much. It was white in the middle, red around the outside. And I never knew. I never knew about it back then. I mean, you didn't really hear about it. Lyme disease. What's that? You sit on limestone and you feel yucky? You never heard about it. So time would go on, and I was having more anxiety, and I was always dizzy. And I would go down the street, and I'd have to have my son at the time. I said, Chris, let me use your shoulder for a minute. And I would rest my hand up on his shoulder and walk back home. I said, I just don't feel right. Meanwhile, my skin's getting paler and paler, and I'm starting to get red blotches, and people are like, you're still young, you're just getting older. No. It got to the point where I got so used to all these little side effects that you read for Lyme that I thought that was normal feelings. I thought it was normal to feel like you had 100 bugs crawling up and down your legs, and so on. And back in 2000, maybe 2007, my boyfriend's dog ended up getting fleas, and he was always working in the summer, so he didn't care for him properly, which I could have kicked him in the butt for. He ended up getting a flea infestation in the house. And, it was about a half a year after that, I declined. That was it. I went right downhill. We were in Old Forge, which is up north in New York, about an hour and a half away from here. We came home after spending the weekend up there, the dog with us. Also Tick Haven up there with all the deer. Anyway, we came home and these fleas just attacked us to the point where we stayed out on the porch and we ran down the street, got some flea bombs, came home, lit the bombs off, and then, eventually came back into the house. But we had been bit all over the place. And it just was never right. About a half a year after that, I wasn't right prior, but I really wasn't right after that. I woke up one morning 8 years ago, and I had a Herx reaction, not knowing what it was. It fit all the descriptions of MS. I couldn't walk right. I was like staggering and jiggling. I went to throw my dishcloth into the sink, and my arm went like this, and it went way over on my counter. My vision, I had to put my glasses on, my reading glasses, and never take them off again, except when sleeping. My vision went. I was seeing floaters in my right eye. Oh, gosh, my words were coming out backwards. I became ADHD overnight. I tried to eat that day, which I was too scared to really eat, but I figured I needed to. And when I went to put the fork in my mouth, I hit myself in the cheek over here. Very hard time swallowing. Couldn't gag easy. It was like I choke easy, like my throat was swollen. And I got on the phone and I called my boyfriend's mom and I said, something is seriously wrong. Don't know what it is, but something's really, really wrong. And meanwhile, I'm having aches and pains. I was weak all over the place. My left leg started to drag. The top of my right foot was numb completely. Still is to this day. It got real bad. And, I stayed on the couch because I ached. Everything was so foggy. Depth perception was off. I was using a cane to walk. And this lasted probably about 4 or 5 months. And then each year, it would happen again. And I'd be down in bed or laying on the couch for weeks on end, a couple months at a time. And each time that it happened, I got a new symptom that never went away. And I started to go numb here on my face. And then like the next time, a year later, it went down further into my face. The last time I had it, it was my whole right side of my face. Burning spots back here. No strength whatsoever in any of my limbs. My right arm really did not want to work with my brain, and of course my left leg's affected, and it drops and drags, just like somebody with MS. And, I was going to doctors left and right, and they never could figure out what it was. I got tested for Lyme because I asked for it. Oh, it's inconclusive, and then I switched doctors after a while, and, the doctor was like, well, you don't have Lyme disease, that's in Long Island. I'm like, are you kidding me? I go to the vet with my dogs, and you're trying to tell me it's not here when every dog that gets tested for it is testing positive? BS. So, I went and saw a neurologist. You're depressed. That's your problem. I said, you're damn right I'm depressed. I'm depressed because you people can't figure out what the hell's wrong with me, for one. I already think I know what's wrong with me, but you won't listen. Anyway, it was a long battle with doctors. I saw neurologists. They never came back with anything. I had numerous MRIs, no lesions on the brain. Of course, I was afraid to have the dye done. I turned it down because I react to everything. My body's so hypersensitive now that it could be an Excedrin and it sends me into an attack where I'm all crunched up and shaking. So, it's been a long, hard haul. They've tried to put me on antidepressants. I refused to take them. I said, that's not my problem. They did finally diagnose me with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, but that is only because I told them to test for it, because I felt like I was being choked. That did come back positive. Then I got the sonogram for that, and they saw the goiters. But, it was this long, ongoing battle. I'd go to the doctor, and he'd say, I'll send your blood tests out to another place, and never would. So finally, I got my new doctor in November of 2015. And I will continue this story soon. Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching.